Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here today with the incredible Demi Weitz. She is the co-creator, along with her father, Richard Weitz, of RWquarantunes. This Zoom concert series put together by the father-daughter duo hosted hundreds of Hollywood's biggest entertainers, singers, and songwriters, all with the purpose of raising money and giving back to those most affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. To date, Demi and her father have raised $20 million for a number of charities, becoming one of the most notable philanthropic initiatives this past year and garnering national attention for only 17-year-old Demi. I am so excited to have you. This is probably the coolest thing I've ever heard of. I was totally fangirling, learning about you, learning about your dad, and this amazing idea that you've come up with. So just for some of our viewers who maybe haven't heard of Quarantunes before or not really sure what this is, can you talk a little bit about what it is, how it got started, stuff like that?
100%. Well, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much. That was so sweet. So Quarantunes is a virtual fundraising platform that my dad and I created about a year ago. It's been 11 months. It started as a fluke. Quarantunes was not supposed to be a philanthropic endeavor whatsoever. I turned 17 a year ago at the beginning of the pandemic, and it was when everyone was in serious lockdown. Schools just shut down. No one was seeing anyone. People didn't know whether to wear masks or not at the time. No one knew what Zoom was. It was very, very interesting. And I was like, okay, well, happy birthday to me. Kidding. Obviously, I put it into perspective of what was going on, and I just want to spend some time with my family. My dad is a crazy extrovert. Disclaimer, he is an agent, which really helped propel this platform, which I will get into a little bit. But this piano player from Chicago that my dad knows reached out to him and was like, hey, I want to make some money. Obviously with COVID, the piano bars are shut down. Could we get a Zoom together and maybe I could play for you guys virtually? My dad was like, you know what? It's my daughter's birthday coming up. Let's do it. And my dad mentioned it to me. I was like, yeah, that sounds great. But I don't want to be a part of it. So I'll give you my friends' phone numbers and it will be a surprise, because I was just that person at the time. And I go on to my surprise party, and this piano player Dario is playing Don't Stop Believin', some Billie Eilish, some Elton John, all of these songs from across the board. And I see 40 of my friends just looking at me like, what is happening right now? Because it's this guy that's just jamming on the piano, and no one knew what Zoom was. So it was just so weird. We were on a 40-minute free trial, and I turned to my dad and I was like, I love Dario. He is great. I love you. I love my friends. I don't like being a host on my birthday and having everyone look at me.
Yeah.
So I turned to my dad, I'm like, hey dad, it happened in this very spot. It's like, hey dad, could we pause this and maybe do it with our family or whatever? So my dad texted Dario and he was like, we love it. Demi's friends don't really know what's going on. I mean, my phone was blowing up with what is happening right now.
Yeah.
This is the best thing ever. It was just really weird. So we pressed pause, and an hour later, my dad got his coworkers on, our family, his high school friends. I went up to my bedroom, and Dario's just playing some awesome music. And my dad calls his friend, Debbie Gibson, who is an 80s singer, and this is kind of how the whole thing took place. And she's awesome, and he's like, get up, because she was taking a nap. Get up, get on this call. Get on your piano. So she starts singing and all of this stuff. And everyone is loving it because we're all secluded, isolated, lonely, sad. We wanted to evoke some sense of community, and this was our way to connect.
Absolutely.
So on my birthday, we were all having a really fun time, and my dad's friend invites John Mayer. So that's just the craziest thing ever.
That first night,
my birthday, I was like, I am so glad my friends are not on here. I get John Mayer to myself. Kidding, but my dad's friend invited him, and him and Deb start chatting, bantering. They both admire each other a lot. Dario's still playing the piano. We're all having conversation. It's 40 of us. And I'm like, what is going on right now?
Yeah.
Why is John Mayer on my adjacent birthday party? Because my birthday party was over. And I was in pajamas in bed. So I was freaking out, and people loved it. Obviously, I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
And then the next day, my dad was like, we got to do it again, because we were all bored. So we did it again. My dad was like, who else could we get on? And we just started to reach out to friends who could reach out to friends. And then we did it again and again And then it got a little bit of traction and everyone wanted to come on. My dad was posting it on his infamous Instagram. And the Saturday of April 4th, we had done 4 shows. And I said, Dad, you know what? We are so privileged. We are so lucky. We 100% have a platform. This was about when like 100 or 200 people were watching. And I was like, we need to raise money. This is not a question. If you see what's happening in the world right now, we have to do something. We have to take action. And I made a GoFundMe. I said, let's raise $10,000 because that seemed like a lot of money to me, which it is. And a very reasonable amount to just try and like get people to donate. So my dad was like, Demi, let's raise 30. So we get on the call and I'm like, hi, everyone. I made a GoFundMe. We're raising money for the Sabang Community Clinic, which is a local Los Angeles clinic. My dad and our family has been a part of it for a long time. And we made it to $38,000 that day. And it was insane. And then by the next day, we ended up at $100,000 because someone said, someone anonymously who was not even on the Zoom saw what we were doing, contacted us and said, if you get to $50,000, I will match it. And I was in tears. I was like, what have we done? We have helped so many people. Everyone loved it because it was this authentic father-daughter in our kitchen, talking to random people, putting on a show. And once we made it to $100,000, that really propelled what we were doing. And we did it again. And I totally restructured it. We made instead of using GoFundMe, we made like a private link that was coordinated with directors from the organization. So the money doesn't go through a third party. It goes directly to the cause. And I started to interview people on the Zoom. And I can't talk. I started to interview people on the Zoom and we wanted to make everyone aware of what was happening. So we did Cedars-Sinai. We were doing local causes and hospitals and organizations at the time. Now we're doing national ones, but it was really focused on LA. So we interviewed people from Cedars and we had some frontline workers on and we really got into the nitty gritty of what was happening. This was at the height and beginning of COVID. So Mayor Garcetti came on, we like reached out to him and got him to come on and everyone wanted to help. People were bored, they were lonely, like I said, and they wanted to give back in any way, shape, or form. So we started doing these shows and then we started reaching out to more people and companies and different organizations. And it really, really solidified what we were doing to now putting on full-blown 7-hour concerts for 11 months. And I was just a high schooler before this. I mean, I still am, but I was sitting in my bedroom watching TV, just wanting to do something like nice for people. And now it has literally turned into a revolutionary philanthropic thing that my dad and I do. And I cannot believe it. Looking back a year ago, I never thought this would ever happen in my life. And I know you said we made it to $20 million, which is absurd. I will say, it's not people giving 50 grand left and right. It is people giving $5, $10, $100, $1,000. It is an eclectic group of individuals from all over the place. Everyone that we've met, my teachers are on. Anyone that DMs our account, we will invite. And now through organizations, they invite their board members and the people that support them. So we always get a new audience, but it's not people giving big loads of money. I mean, we've had incredible companies come in like Goldman Sachs and Wells Fargo, and they have contributed, which was awesome. But it was all about momentum getting there. It was a big push. My dad and I were watching our old Zooms over again, and it was, I can't believe we raised $90,000 today. I can't believe we raised, now we're at 250, 500. And then we're like, we got to get to 1 million. And once we made it to 1 million, we were like, whoa.
Oh my God.
And then we kept going and going and going and pushing and getting on calls all the time. I know it seems like when you're on the Zoom, it's like really easy, like all of the stuff, but there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes.
I bet, yeah.
Any dollar that is donated counts. We just care about participation. We're not trying to be elitist or any of that stuff, but it has been crazy. So RWquarantunes was a fluke with my birthday, and now it's this.